Sanbanani Makaya, Sanbanani, this is Gaddafi Manafi, the entertainment freedom fighter, and welcome to Attention Show, the voice of the entertainment industry, where I always promise to deliver you relevant information pertaining the industry, education, entertainment, and of course, what is Gaddafi Manafi without a pinch of controversy. Guys, Namtlanje, I have a dear friend of mine. This is like so ironic because you know, if me and this person could still be cool today, Chris Rock and Will Smith, they've got nothing on us. Okay, so I'm sure you know him from the industry, and some of you, if you're a jazz lover, of course, you will know his music, and because he's been in the jazz space for a while and in the music industry for a while. And hey, I mean, I've got a lot of questions today, so let me not waste time and just bring him in. Hi, MPUMI.
Yo.
How you doing?
Grand, no?
You're sharp. So when I wrote down your credentials, I didn't know whether I should continue or what, because there's just a lot, and I don't know which one you describe yourself as. So music writer, composer, director, arranger, performer, producer, blah blah blah. Like for me, it's just non-stop because it's more like you've been doing a lot. And how do you describe yourself for credentials? Did I miss anything here?
You missed a lot, but it's okay. Look, those titles are important when it comes to charging, and depending on what we are doing, you know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, it's like, and I think as creatives, we've been oppressed for too long. Whereas if you work in an office, they ask for your CV. On your CV, what do? You boast about your credentials, and that's exactly what it's about. Whereas you're not allowed to speak as a creative. You must be told what you are. No, I know what I am. You wanna know? Okay, cool. I'll tell you. So it's a lot of things, man. But to summarize it, every single thing production related, whether it's video related, audio related, backstage, front stage, behind this, whatever it is, there's a lot. And there's a lot.
Yeah. And question: which instruments do you define that defines you?
I don't really have one, because I think each is like, for example, if I'm booked for a gospel show, I'm not going to touch piano. I am not. I just have no interest in playing piano. I'll rather play saxophone, for example, if it's a gospel setup. If it's a jazz setup, now I'm playing a lot of accordion, and I play saxophone sometimes, then I play piano, and then so it depends really what I'm doing. So I always categorize myself like a mechanic. A mechanic can't ever have a favorite spanner. It doesn't make sense. You can't say my favorite tool is size 30. Like what? Okay. So for me, these are just tools to achieve something. So depending on what the problem is, remember, that's what creativity is. It's problem solving. But the problem is you're solving a problem that was never a problem to begin with. Nobody asked you to compose music. So you know how you're going to finish and compose that song. So let's get the tools. Let's hit it.
Yeah. And which instrument you don't play? Because it seems like you play quite a lot. Which one?
I don't play strings. I don't really enjoy strings, so I don't play strings. The only string instrument I play now is guitar and bass, but I don't really play like your violins and I don't really enjoy them much. I generally learn instruments based on when I've found a sound that I want to exploit. So for example, I'm going to move into strings now, but I'm going to be playing like a koto or like the West African string instruments like koras and stuff, because I've found a vibe that I like. But Njenje, I don't just learn Njenje, no. I learn it for a purpose, and then I put in the album.
Yeah, okay. No, I hear you. Anyway, welcome to Attention Show, and thanks for making time for us. We've been up and down with, sa kgone ho kopana ka dinako, but thanks for making time today.
Yeah.
For you, how was COVID-19? I always like to start with this question because a lot of things, we got shaken up a bit by COVID-19. How was it for you?
It was the best year of my career.
How so?
Like
What happened?
without a doubt. Without a
Mm.
doubt. So when we're saying COVID-19, we're speaking 2020, 2021. I mean,
Yep.
no, those were the 2 best years of my life, man. Like
Mm.
work-wise, just making moves. It really, really, really. Because remember, the advantage, I think, I don't want to call it an advantage, but I looked crazy when I said I want to stop performing like 4 or 5 years ago. So I'll perform now and then because somebody
Mm.
wants me to perform. But I looked crazy when I came up with, and then this whole time I've just been setting up. So setting up from a corporate standpoint, setting up from, you know what I'm saying? So but it's not like I had it planned because obviously nobody knew anything about COVID.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
when it hit, I yo, I, 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 I literally have like 8 jobs at this point, like job jobs.
Wow.
I
Yeah.
don't want to call them jobs, but like, yeah, let's call it that.
Okay. Businesses.
Yeah,
Businesses.
that works too. That works too. That works too. It's just when I say
Yes.
businesses, it sounds like I'm just doing it by myself with a bunch of my friends. No, no, no. I also do, for example, like with private people, I do all the audio for private property, for example. You know what I'm saying? I do all the music for
Mm.
Takalani System now. Also, I do. I'm with. I don't know if I can talk about these other ones. Yeah, but they haven't made the official announcements. It's supposed to happen, but I
Yeah.
can.
Yeah.
Like I'm with TEDx now. I do their stuff. I do. There's a lot, man. There's a lot. There's a lot. So
Mm.
yeah.
Mm. Okay, for people who don't know you, and I mean this is also to introduce you to people who don't know you, and I'm assuming with a lot of people don't they know about jazz but they don't listen to jazz, or they know MPUMI but they haven't listened to music, or they don't like there's nothing, they don't know much about you. So if you can just like give a brief of who MPUMI is. Did you go and study music? Because those are some of the curious questions that personally, that's what I've been asking myself. Did
So
you study music, and when did you study music, and how did you get into the industry? So if you can give us a summary of that, and then we'll then continue about the industry.
well, look, I grew up in Soweto, right, in Kulile Zola, but I was one of those that didn't do quite okay. But at that point, I didn't care about music. I was a soccer player. I used to play for Morocco Swallows. You know, a lot of people don't know that I
Wow.
was actually supposed to be in Epic
Wow.
PSL. I lost interest. Then I started playing pool. Then I was like playing provincial, and I was supposed to go national. Then I lost interest. And then at that point, I went to Drakensberg Boys. And then I could just sing. I remember my mom went to Erao. There was a, what do
Yeah.
you call this thing? There was a concert at Drakensberg Boys, and then during the interval, someone said, not someone, but the conductor said they'll be holding auditions
Yeah.
for anybody interested to come into the school. And then they were describing the school's like this, and then it sounded more and more interesting to me, you know. And then I just went backstage and I just auditioned. It was never planned. Got into the school. Well, I wasn't in yet. They said I need to do a theory test. Now I've never done theory. Got an emergency teacher, some lady Shirley.
Mm.
She taught me music theory. I learned like grade 1, 2, and 3 in like 3 months because I had to get there and figure out what the hell I was doing. Did my theory
Yeah.
test, got in, then did my my normal test, got into the school, Drakensberg Boys. All I'm doing is singing. Fast forward,
Mm.
I leave Drakensberg Boys, I go to National School of Arts. Now there was a lot of musicians during my era now because all the
Yeah.
Kwanye experience guys were there. Ligan was in my class. Ligan and I had a band. Ramon was there. Sabu, the drummer, was there. All of them.
Mm.
There were a lot of people that are active in the industry right now were all there.
Yeah.
Tepo, Zotetsi, Zoe, all of us were there at the same time. You know what I mean? Amanda
Wow.
Mlangen was in my class.
Yeah.
Who else? Sure, no, man, there was just a lot of people. So that was a
Mm.
great, that 2003 till 2006 block. That was a great time. And then after school, what happened actually? We were old. Yeah, Ligan and I entered a Yamaha competition. We won
Yeah.
that competition twice. Then there was a recording thing, you know, when the Bati prize. They said, but you wanna go
Yeah.
get studio time. Anyway, so we
Yeah.
got studio time at Pyramid. So the Pyramid, boom, worked there for a little bit. Worked on an album, but it was like one of those part of the studio time thing as the group.
Mm.
So one
Mm-hmm.
of the albums I worked on got to Sony. Now Dave Thompson, I don't know if you remember Dave Thompson from Idols, and the one that also used to put his
Yes.
glasses here.
Yes.
Yeah, so it got to Dave, and then Dave said he wants to meet the team. And obviously at the time, I don't know what producing is. So for me, somebody else, I was just like, okay, whoever was producing is producing. I'm just composing and arranging. That's just me. That's what I do. How old? I was
Yeah.
20 at the no 19 at the time.
Mm.
Then I was giving private lessons at the same time, right? Music.
Mm.
And then when Dave made set up the meeting to meet Plamina and I and Wigzaro, got there, we spoke. Straight after that, after the meeting, so I say to him, look, I've always been a very confident human being. You know what I'm saying? So, and I believe I'm a citizen. I can sell anything. I can sell you to yourself. You know what I'm saying? And you'll buy yourself from me. You know what I'm saying? So Dave says to me, oh, then I say to him, look, I can write songs for your artists. I've never really been interested in being the guy. I've never been interested in
Yeah.
that. You know, that's why you'll notice that
Mm.
I've made people multi-millionaires and I've made people mega stars. It's very easy for me to wake up tomorrow and decide to become a pop artist. It wouldn't take anything. It's easy for me anyway. You
Mm.
know, because I've done it
Mm.
for so many other people. I know the formula at this point. Okay, sure.
Yeah.
So I say to him, look, I've got songs for your artists. I'm 20 years, I'm 19. I'm like, I've got songs for your artists. So he says, okay, cool. How many songs can you give me? I'm like, how many do you want? It was a Thursday or a Friday. He says,
Mm.
okay, give me 8 or 9 songs. I was like, okay, he sounds unsure. I'll give him more than that. Now, I don't have a studio.
Mm.
Um, he taught me how to use Reason and Cubase and all that. Mind you, I'm learning how to use studio equipment now. He taught me this in like 3-4 days. But in that time,
Mm.
I'm busy recording. Following day, I go to my meeting at Sony. Well, it was BMG at the time. Get there with Dave, boom, get in the office. Kumbula mofage CD into the, what do you call, the CD player. It writes how
Yeah.
many songs on the thing before you
Yeah.
press play.
Yes.
When it comes on, it said like 19 songs. So he says to me, so what are these other songs? I'm like, no, I just wrote extra songs just in case the other ones were not nice. Right? He then says to me,
Yeah.
okay, cool. What do you want to drink? I'm like, a Fanta. And I said, okay. He went and got back. He got his coffee. Came back with my recording contract, man.
Wow. Just like that.
Yeah, like that's why whenever I hear these stories of like it's difficult. Yeah, I believe as an artist you're a product. So if you don't know how to
Yeah.
sell yourself as a product and you're selling yourself as an artist, it's a problem because you're coming here to sell milk. Why should we buy your milk? What's special about your milk? No, my milk is pink.
Yeah.
It's targeting young, it's targeting girls. But now we then say, but girls don't like pink after the age of 9. You're like, no, that's not my target market. My target market is between 4 and whatever the story is. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? So
Yes. Yes.
literally, can you believe this, right? I'm 19 years old. I produced my own album in a major record label. That never happens. That's never going to happen ever again.
Wow.
Nobody was.
Which
I'm saying, hmm?
which album was it?
The first one, that first one where I'm standing with the saxophone there, with the lights, a cultural express.
Oh, cultural experience.
And
Okay.
mind you, I only started playing saxophone 3 months before, though, because my saxophone player teach me. So during
Wow.
pre-production, I learned how to play that instrument. You know what I'm saying? So, but I'm saying to you, the trust that Dave had, and he put, because I have to credit him. I always mention him in every interview. I'm saying to you, I said, how much is my budget? They said, just don't waste money, right? Just don't waste it.
Mm.
So this is why on my album I have Carlo Mombelli, I have Victor Masondo, I have Vuskumalo, I have Fana Zulu, I have Dave Klassen, I have it's everybody that was in my bucket list, you know, and I
Yeah.
got favors from everybody. And imagine being a 19-year-old. That's never gonna ever happen. I don't see it happening anytime soon where you're signed to a major label. Mind you, they didn't even hear pre-production because I didn't have any. So they just said
Mm.
record. And all I delivered was the final album. That's it. No questions in between. What do you want to do as a CD cover? Okay, cool. I called a friend of mine. His name is Greg Bester. Greg was recording. Um, He called his friend Ian Finch. We decided, we walked. This is my CD cover now. Don't know what the hell I'm doing. We went to Newtown in some building there, and then we just came up with a concept there. I went and delivered a CD cover to Sony. That's it. Like I'm saying to you, I was asked no questions from the beginning to the end, and all I did was deliver the album. You know, and it was, yeah, man, it was amazing. You know what I'm saying? I didn't really have those normal issues that people have.
Yeah. So at that age, having that breakthrough that you didn't even plan for, and I mean that was great. But were you ready for it? Like in terms of registering your music, Lisamro, and your research and stuff. Like, was everything in line, or were you guided into that? How did that work?
Remember, I'm signed to a major record label, so we can always speak bad things about labels and whatever. But the infrastructure that comes with the label, you can't go do that on your own first time around. It's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. Because even something as silly as saying you want to do your own show, Marokosho Itwin Plak, there's no gig. There's no show that day. So there's small little things that, you know, you need to remember. Now I know them, but even from a video standpoint, a music video, okay, I've never done music videos because, like I say, I've never really wanted to be famous. I'm okay with being popular, but being famous is something else. And I want to be known in the right spaces, and I can walk into certain spaces. They don't know my face, but if I mention my name, they're like, "Oh, is that you? Oh, yeah." I'm happy with that. I'm cool. You know what I'm saying? But small things like storyboarding before you go shoot. What are we shooting? What time are we shooting? I want to shoot at 5 o'clock. Wait, do you have lights? No. What lights? Are we getting night lights? Are we getting what do you call those things? Those lights, whatever. There's different color, temperature lights, whatever. Now, where you want to learn all the stuff? Now, in a record label, you just say, "This is what I want. This is what I want. This is what I want. This is how much it costs." Boom, they handle it. So I didn't have to ever worry about those things. My publishing, they set up a publishing meeting for me with Sony ATV. I'm still with Sony ATV. So today, met Shafika back then with Jay Savage. So that set up all my publishing, started there. You know what I'm saying? Sam, bro. Yeah, let's not have a conversation about them. But yeah, Sambro's tricky. Sambro's tricky, but I don't want to speak about them. I'll blame myself. Yeah, Sambro's tricky. But yeah, man, everything was set up for me, you know? Everything was set up before me. And before I even, because there's things I didn't know, definitely, right? But obviously there was a label manager, there's all the team is there. So they'll then guide you. Okay, this is this, this is this, this is this, this is this. With Sambro also, I think my problem is, it's not a problem really. Now being older, I now take more accountability for things that aren't happening. So if, let's say, for example, I don't get my royalties or I don't get something, it's not their problem. It's my business. At the end of the day, they are dealing with thousands of musicians. And realistically, if we're being realistic, they can't chase after everybody and say, "Hey, here's your money, it's your money, go chase it." So that's why I'm saying the Sambro conversation is tricky, because looking back now, I think there's things I could have handled differently from a business standpoint. Then I can hold certain people and places accountable. So I'll always take myself as the first person to blame, because you allow people to, this is not even a Sambro conversation, it's like promoters or session artists and people we work with, right? If I do something for you and you got paid 2 million rand and you pay me 5,000 rand, it's not your fault. You didn't cheat me. I'm the one that didn't negotiate well. That's it. That's how I look at things. It's never them. It's business. It's not your friend, that it's business. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah. And okay, so tell me, I'm gonna go into like all the other albums that you have produced, right? But before we go there, one thing when I listen to your music, and looking at your, I mean, you're younger than me. Okay, so for me, I'm always wondering, Hore.
Like you must stop this thing now. Like you are not younger. You were just born before. You were born before.
If I was born before you, I'm older than you, right?
Yeah, because my parents chose to wait.
Okay, so this is
It's
the
not the way.
question. My
Sure.
question is, who did you grow up listening to? And because for me, is your style of music, your style of jazz. When I listen to it, and it's what my dad used to listen to back in the days, and
Sure.
that's why I love jazz because of my dad. But now I'm
Sure.
wondering, what? Here's this young boy, and you play such mature jazz music. Who did you grow up listening to, and what inspired you to go straight into jazz instead of other genres?
See, unfortunately, I don't have like an amazing story. My story is very boring, like how I got signed. It's straight to the point. Okay. So how I got, because I used to rap and I still rap, right? But the problem is it's boring for me. I don't really
Yeah,
enjoy it as much. So, well, actually, rap is exciting now because we're back into the whole lyricism thing, right? Great.
yeah.
But
Mm.
for me, I really had no interest in other genres. So I actually did the whole jazz thing as a challenge to myself, to be honest. I really had no plan. When they said, do an album, I didn't know what I was doing, really, you know what I'm saying?
Really?
So, nah, I just decided, like, I literally have over 5,000 compositions, way over. I'll send you a screenshot of my folders. I've got thousands of songs. I could literally release over 200 albums. I've got too much music, all genres. I'm speaking. I've got a classical album. I even have a Maskandi album. I've got like 7 or 8 gospel albums just sitting there. I've got no man. I've got too much music, and that for me is nothing amazing. It's what a musician is supposed to be doing. Our job is to
Yeah,
create content, is to create music. It's not to perform. Performing is an outlet. So what ends up happening
yeah.
is we get so caught up in performance, and then COVID hits. You have no legacy, you have no
Mm,
royalties, there's nothing, there's no plan. You're
yeah,
now waiting for the other
yeah.
artists who are struggling
Mm,
themselves to go look for work to give you. Nah, man. So you know what I'm saying. So
mm,
for me to get into the jazz space, I didn't really even listen to music much. My mom was a musician, but I really had no interest in music. Um,
mm.
I had family members that worked at Sony, actually at BMG, so I used to get a lot of music. So when I did listen to music, it was Luther Vandross, As Yet, that vibe. I'm like a 90s R&B baby, you know what I'm saying? Although I'm born in the
Yeah.
80s, but I that 90s R&B, that 90s, I must be scared. I must be scared. I'm telling you, it's tricky out here. So,
Yeah.
so the 90s R&B era, that's my vibe. You know what I'm saying? That's
Mm,
the music I listen.
mm,
So, but because I studied music, or I've just been exposed to so much, I can
mm.
literally decide now what genre I want to do, and that's why I can produce and make everybody else the type of music that they want to do. You know, so whether it's
Yeah.
Kabomo stuff, a lot of people don't know that I did Kabomo's albums, for example. Some of them, you know what I'm saying?
Yes, I
Did
was
stuff
about
for
to ask, um,
yeah.
who else, like, if you can just mention a number of like people that you have worked with. Gabo Mo, I know Lira as well.
Yeah. Brian Temba, I did one of Zama Travis albums. I did Sepatula's last album. I did
Mm,
Lulu Tikana's album before, I think the one just before she passed.
mm,
Um, Proverb. I was Kuli China's music director. In fact, I started the whole band thing for him. I did Kuli stuff. Pro Kid even. Proverb. Got stuff with him released. Oh, I did stuff with Soul Penduga when he was still a house cat. Hey man,
wow.
there's a lot of people. There's a lot of people. But
Mm,
because, like I say to you, I've always run away from the limelight. It's never really, but it's also never made it because I didn't understand business. I never understood the
mm,
business aspect that comes with being in the limelight. Now it's different. Now there's endorsement deals. Now your endorsement deal is linked to your following, and your followings now you are an influencer now. So that all comes
yeah,
with being in the. So it's a different
yeah.
headspace now, and you know what I'm saying. So, but at the time, nah, it was never really. There's a lot of albums that people don't even. I hear people telling me about projects I produced, but they don't even know I did it. Yeah,
Yeah,
but have you heard so and so? I'm like, yeah, I have, and I just leave it there.
yeah,
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 sure, you know.
yeah. Well, Mpumi, when did you know that you were talented? Like that you are musically talented? Because, like you say, that you didn't. This was not your interest. When did you realize? Because I'm sure, Hore, it's when you realize, oh man, I'm talented in this, that you start giving your all. But for you, when was it where
I
you were
still
like,
don't give my all. That's the weird thing. I don't think I give my all, hey. I think I'm lazy. I think I'm
wow,
lazy. I think so. Like my thing is it's not music, it's not anything. Like I used to be a painter, I used to draw, I did sports, I did, there's all these things that so I think my skill is not particular. I'm good at figuring things out. That's just my thing.
mm,
So whatever it is, if you want me to be a netball coach, I'm going to be a netball coach in the next 2 months. I'll figure it out and I'll understand the theory, and then I'll break down and have conversations with people. I do heavy research. People don't know I'm a nutritionist. I'm a qualified nutritionist, and I'm doing
yes, I remember
biochemistry.
you said
You know
that.
what I'm saying? So there's
Yes,
all these other things, but it's not because I'm talented now at medicine or I'm talented. No, it's just I'm good at figuring things out, and I'm highly competitive. So whatever you think you're good at, I'm gonna challenge you. But from a good sportsman perspective, not from
yes,
a tactic standpoint. But I'm telling you that you'll not be. So my theory is when I speak to, like when I lecture at universities, is
mm,
that anybody that is better than you at anything at all, it's because you allow them to be. Now we're
yeah,
not taking away from the work that they are putting in. Leave them.
mm,
But for all you know, this person is a slow learner. It took him 40 years. Why is it taking you 40 years? Because firstly, you can
yeah,
learn from them, and it means half of that you've half the time. Yes, there's
yeah,
experience, great. Yeah, but
mm,
you know what I'm saying. So for me, that's how I motivate myself, and this is how from a mental, what's this thing that's going on now where everybody's speaking about mental illness and mental wellness. It
yes,
starts off with small words like humility, not understanding that there's a difference between being um, having low self-esteem and being humble. It's two different things. Now if you're going to
mm,
ask me about my job, now you've already told me that, oh no, you are good at this and this. I'm not going to now say, yeah, well, that's different. But if you then
yeah,
asked me, you said, do you think you're good at what you do? I'm going to tell you I'm the best at what I do. You know what I'm saying?
mm,
And now when I'm saying I'm the best at what I do, it doesn't mean that you're not the best at what you do. There can be 30,000 people that are the best. But now
yeah,
we have this problem where people with low self-esteem want everybody else that works hard to then pretend that we are at the same level. Unfortunately, we are not. It's unfortunate
yeah,
because,
yes,
and why I say this is because even at school, that's why I need to go by name. But you put position number 1, position number 2,
mm,
position number 10, so that next term you know oh, this is the person that I'm going after. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
It's
yeah,
very important, that thing. But we shouldn't be toxic
mm,
now. It shouldn't be toxic. Let's be very
mm,
clear. But from a
mm,
sportsman's perspective, if I was playing against another team and they won a Shire 5-0, yeah, I'll be upset. But
mm,
it doesn't mean if my friend doesn't that team, I'm not going to speak to him anymore. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
So if I say I'm the best at what I no, I don't want to say I'm the best at what I do, because now that kind of diminishes the work that I've put in. I don't want that. It's
yeah,
not right. Like I've worked hard. You know what I'm saying? So I'll say I'm the best. If you feel like you're the best, then we are both the best. Great, let's be friends. But now people
yeah,
want us to be dignity. If you say, so are you good at your job? No.
yeah,
I'm good at my job. You know what I'm saying? Nobody does what I do. Now maybe nobody does what you do. And you're the best at what
yeah,
you do. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
we can't keep breeding this generation of men. I'll focus on men now, because clearly there's a lot of focus around men at this point. Breeding a
mm,
culture of men with low self-esteem, because when you have low self-esteem, you'll want to make up for it in other ways. There's no need. You know what I'm saying? If you're in a
yeah,
situation where you're arguing with your woman, there's no need to assert dominance. You already have the dominance. Shut up. Sometimes the dominance is in you just keeping quiet and just walking
mm,
away. That gets better
mm,
results sometimes, actually most of the time. So, and for me, the same rules apply here, even in the music thing. Because if we get
mm,
into a space where you're about to get a 2 million rand endorsement and they're like, but you've never performed in front of 100,000 people. Will you cope? Yeah, I can try. No, you ride the wave. You say, listen, that's why I'm here. The only reason I was
mm,
performing for 2,000 people is because I didn't have the capacity. But now
yeah,
that's why I'm here. So the 100,000, no. Let's make it 500,000. Even if you're lying, it's not the point. This is still a business. So you need to sell their product, which is yourself. You can't come here with, but can we buy the voice roll? Yeah, the bread. The bread is, I think the bread is still fine. No one's going to buy that product. Nobody's going to buy that product. Yeah.
And tell us about your cook. I told you, and I knew that you were just going to go on and on, you see. So let's speak about your...
I don't want it to be awkward now. Imagine now saying Shayabo, okay, let me be awkward for the next 15 seconds. 15 seconds. Okay, so how was it like you growing up? It was nice. What did you do? Things, stuff, you know. Yeah, just nice.
So tell me, let's get into your music. There's this cultural experience. There's Beneath the Surface. There's Note to Self. A Day with A Day with
okay, those are songs now. So the 3 albums
are songs.
First album was Cultural Express, and then came Note to Self. Well, there were other albums in between that I released, but I decided I didn't like them. And then I just took them off the shelves. I decided I just didn't like them, right? But it still plays on radio. So Nikki B plays it every Saturday. Like, what's the other? Not Cultural Express. Cultural Express is the one that I took back. You won't find that album anywhere.
Why?
As musicians are very fickle and very sensitive beings. So when we are boasting and when we have pride and when we have egos, leave us alone, because half of the time, we are like, I'm telling you, like it's leave us alone when you hear me saying, listen, I'm the best, leave us, because half of the time you play somebody a song. I'm telling you, like, imagine, like any musician, you play somebody a song and they are on their phone like this. It's the most disheartening thing. We want to see your reaction. We want to see your feet move. So we're very sensitive beings. You know what I'm saying? We're very, very, very sensitive. So, and I'm part of it. You know what I'm saying? As confident as I may seem, I'm confident about things that I'm confident about. Then there's things that I'm not sure about, which is the things that I feel I need to work harder on, right? And with Cultural Express, I didn't mix and master at the time. I was not an engineer. So, but somebody mixed and mastered it and messed it up. So I then said, instead of me complaining, let me go learn how to mix and master. You see, that's what I do. I look for the solution. I don't want to create problems and then we perpetuate the problem and then make it. No, that's the problem. So the first album is Combined Elements. That's 2007. And then there were two or three other albums in between, which we shall not name. And then, but they're going to come out. They're going to come out probably this year. And then 2018, Note to Self, that's the one with the I, with Forever Always and those other songs. This one.
Yeah.
This one here.
Yes.
And then January 24 this year. So, interesting conversation. I'm going to speak very cryptic now. So I was somewhere with some people doing something, and then I left. And then
oh wow. Okay.
Then after that thing I was doing there with those people, I was like, okay, let me just pass by Risa and just check the people out there, because I haven't seen them in so long, you know what I'm saying? So I walked into Risa, I had a conversation, and guess what? It happens, and I think it was like the 20, maybe like 90, I don't know, somewhere in the teens. So I had a conversation with them. But why aren't you interviewing for the summers? I'm like, this album thing is boring. I don't know what was said. I don't know what was said that just put me back into soccer mode. I don't know what was said. I said, if I wanted to release, I can release now if I wanted to. And then the challenge was posed. They're like, okay, then when? How long do you need? I think it was like a Tuesday. You know what I said? I said, give me till Friday. That album came out on the 24th of January. 4 days later, or 3 days, something. I didn't know how. Mixed, mastered, recorded every instrument myself. The only thing I didn't play, Spelelo played some of the songs, and then Tsepo played, I think, 2 songs or something like that. But everything else I did myself. Literally, that whole album was done in 3 days. I delivered it with a smile. I was like, you see, you know what I'm saying? But it's that competitiveness nature that pushes me. You know what I'm saying? So that's the
Yeah.
third album. It's called Imvuselelo. Yeah.
Yeah, the current one. So,
Yeah. One.
do you also play drums?
Yeah, but I wouldn't really. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
On the albums, is it you playing drums or did you get someone else to?
3 songs or 4 songs. 4 songs. Spelelo played 4 or 5 songs or something like that.
So if you did these songs, you delivered an album in 3 days. Was it 3 days? So you
Yeah.
didn't sleep basically, or did you
No,
choose from the
I did sleep. No. I did sleep. Like, sing a note for me, any note. Just sing a note. Even if it's not in key, just sing a note.
la?
Nah. So for me to compose is literally. So for me to compose is like seconds. Like, I don't know, man. It's like to come up with a song. As long as, even if I have one note, even if I have I can just come up with material. So I composed that whole album in one day. That's what I do, man. That's what I do.
Okay, so what I need to understand now is that when if someone comes to you and say, like, how do you select your songs? You know the link that you sent me of Imvuselelo and
Yeah.
Note to Self, and how do you?
Yeah.
Because for me, as when I listen to those albums, they are different. Even how you select, it's like you have a way of selecting sound your corner. I would say, okay, this one
The theme.
stays
Yeah,
here,
yeah,
and
yeah.
yeah. And
I
how
don't
do you
want
do
you to
that?
ever listen to 2 songs and hear that it's the same person. The feeling should be the same, but I don't want
Yeah.
you to ever predict my songs. Like, that's why whenever anybody hears my song, they can hear the feeling. They're like, then they'll call me. They're like, "Is that you?" That's good. I'd rather have "Is that you?"
Yes.
than, "Ay, siyamazi ke lo njalo uwenza." No, no, no. That's right. I don't want that. For me, anyway.
And on the albums, who did you feature? Like who?
There's
Okay,
only
we
one
spoke
feature,
about the
really.
yes.
I could call him a feature, Tsepo. Tsepo, I think in terms of how I play saxophone, Tsepo Tsoteti, he's the closest in terms of my sound. So whenever I record a melody myself and I get Tsepo to play it, he interprets it the most perfect of anybody I've worked with. So I never
Yeah.
have to give him a note.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's why you'll always find him on every album I do. Because then if I don't want to play Tsepo, I just call Tsepo. I know that I'm covered. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
There's a song that there's a girl called a lady called Uzoe from Durban, right? Uzoe
Yeah.
Masuku. There's a song
Yes.
she was supposed to be on that I dedicated to Umam Sibongile, but I decided that I'm gonna leave that and release that and just do that on its own. I wanted to just give it its time. So I'm gonna be in Durban in like May, I think. So I was hoping that maybe we could just do those vocals again and then release that song and just put it as a bonus track.
Wow.
That's the advantage of digital distribution. You can always just make those
Yeah.
little changes. You can still add it 6 months
Yes.
later as a bonus track. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Zoe's amazing. She's amazing. I'm a big fan of hers. Yeah.
So
And
thematically, I go by theme. Just to answer it more direct,
yes.
I go by theme, how I'm feeling. So if I'm feeling okay, there'll always be that Indian Chinese thing in my
Yes.
music. Yeah.
The
So
Cuban, the Afro
and
Cuban.
then there's the Cuban stuff, like the salsa stuff. Although the salsa stuff I'm on a break, nyana. But if you listen to like Obo Forever Always, it just sounds like
Yes.
this Zioni mixed with Chinese music mixed. That's my vibe. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
So, but on the next album, so I'm releasing a few more albums this year. A few, like a lot, maybe another 6, 7, 8. I don't know.
Mm.
So
Wow.
yeah. I just need music out, man. Like, it must just be out. You know what I'm saying? It must just
Yes.
be out.
It
So, but
creates a
you'll hear.
space, man. Yes,
Yeah,
you must just let it out. Let it out.
yeah,
Because like
I have
I said with your music is timeless. You know, it's not like you listen to it today and then when you hear the next album you get bored of. Like if I listen to Note to Self, just because manje sekuphume imvuselelo, now note to self it gets boring. You know, it's not like that. Tell me, the song Mduduza Makhathini, was that dedicated to him, or did you feature him in that song?
No, it's dedicated to him. So on every single album, you know, I always get the question. I don't know why.
Okay.
This is what happens. On every single album, from the very first album, I always dedicate a song or two to a musician. Every album, that's my thing. That's my vibe. So on the first album, I had a song for Moses Mlelekwa, called A Journey with Taiwa. I had a song for Andile Yenana, it was called Yenana. I had a song
I was gonna ask about that as well. Yes.
So there's people that don't understand the bigger arc here. Because it's the whole thing of appreciating people, you know what I'm saying? People that had a hand in your and remember, a hand doesn't mean you were sitting there holding my hand playing, but just your contribution to the industry, just your contribution to, sometimes you're just a friend, it was a friend, you know what I'm saying? So with his vibe, I dedicated a song to him that's on Note to Self, right? And then on Mvuselelo, we have a song from Msbongi, you know? On the next album, we have, so on every single album I have, there's going to be a song dedicated to a South African musician. Every album. That's just my thing.
Which album are you gonna have a song dedicated to Gaddafi?
There's a lot of albums. Okay, I can do it as a challenge. Look, I can do it. I can do it.
Yes,
I can.
Yes.
I'll do it.
Okay. Thank you. And tell me, do you write all your songs, or do you get people writing songs and they become ghostwriters?
No, I can't. I don't have time for ghostwriting. It's too slow. I must buy airtime, and then I must now call you, and then you don't pick up, and then you want to Zoom call. You see how difficult it was for me and you to get onto the phone. It was hard. We ended up with like a week of planning because there's just so much happening. My days are long. There's so much to do. I don't have. So every single thing I do myself. The only other person I would trust, well, let me not say I would trust. I'm a little bit more open-minded now. But if I have like stuff that requires orchestration, but I don't have the time or I don't have the energy, the only other person I've been trusting so far is Tepo once again, because I know what to expect at the end of the whole thing. You know what I'm saying? So it's a little bit different. So I'll have like, I don't know, what was it for? Was it for an advert for private property? One of our things that we were doing for like our branding for private property, I needed like saxophones. I could have just done it myself, but I knew Tepo would contribute something extra. So I just sent it to him. I didn't even ask him questions. He sent it back. Yeah. Cool, boom, done. You know.
Yeah.
But no, no.
And the song "Non-Racial Society" is it society? Non-racial society. Was the song inspired by that speech, or you just found that speech, which in the song?
Okay. So I never plan when I compose. I just write. So that's why lately, if you've noticed, I've been posting my rehearsals because some people have been interested to hear like how I come up with arrangements. I basically come up with stuff on the spot. So for me, to compose a song takes me about 30 minutes or less, with arrangement. So when I did that song, it was actually called, what was it called? It was called Navigating, something about small streets. Navigating through a small street or something like that. But the whole idea behind that, the one thing I struggle with, I don't struggle, but the one thing I struggle with is song titles. So I never come up with the song titles up until I have to come up with the song titles. For me, I find them to be pointless. Like, I don't want to stress myself thinking about another song. It's going to come up. You know what I'm saying? That's how you end up coming with these song titles of an hourglass through the sunlit no. You know what I'm saying? Like, not every guys, music is good, we are spiritual and stuff. But sometimes you must just relax. There's no story behind the song. You sat down, you played, you came out, it was nice. You know, all the times, like, no, I woke up in the middle of a dream. There was an owl on the window. I got scared. I tripped and the glass fell. So when the glass fell, it made a rhythm. It went king, king, king. And then I went king, 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 king. And then I came up with king, 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 king. And then, no, it's not, come on. It's not very no. Yeah, hey, this is kind of fun. Yeah. But I guess we have a story to tell. It should be boring if you just say now. Like if everybody spoke like I'm like, no, I needed to submit the song for the awards and it didn't have a name. And I just took the last word from the speech and that's the name. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's not
Yeah.
everybody, but sometimes like and because yeah, it's not always deep, man. It's really not always deep. Sometimes it's just what we do, you know what I'm saying? It's our job. So that song, what happened was I don't know what I was doing on YouTube.
Mm.
Then I bumped into the Steve Biko speech. Guess what happens? I chopped that speech up. I removed that the beginning and the end. No, actually, no. I didn't even cut anything. There was just silence at the beginning and silence at the end.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. I'm saying to you, you see that space where it fits in.
Yeah.
That's unedited. That whole speech fits exactly on that solo. That a whole
Wow.
exactly like
Wow.
I didn't chop anything. The only thing I think I chopped was towards the end because he says black people have always lived in a non-racial society. And then
Yes.
on the original speech, he says it immediately after. All I did was add like a 1 second. So just non-legality. What I forgot what the speech says. No,
Mm.
society gap.
Yeah.
No, society. So I just created that little gap of like 1 second. That's only edit
Yeah.
I did. Otherwise, it just fit perfectly. It was never planned. It just worked out. So I'm not gonna make it sound like it was some genius thing. It does happen, man. And it worked out
Yeah.
nicely. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, well, awesome, man. Awesome. I was expecting like a very deep story there.
Nah, no deep,
Um,
no deep stuff.
who else would you work with? Or do you want to work with, like musically, whether it's locally or globally?
I'm curious to work like with like I'm a like traditional churches. So
Wow.
Aboma,
Okay.
yeah, that's like but my music is already like that. But now I normally sing it myself and then there's like this take six harmonies, what. No. But like I want to get like choir says Ayon or
Mm-hmm.
choir Hashem or choir says it's and
Mm.
do that. Well, actually, I've already started. That's the vibe. That's where I'm at now. You know,
Wow.
that is very interesting. But not have it. It's not even forced. You know, because I've been working my way around that sound, and I understand that music very well now. So that's the way I'm at. But in
Mm.
terms of particular artists, I'm more interested in working with like, for lack of a better word, unknown artists.
Mm-hmm.
People that don't necessarily have a sound, but they have a sound because we can still
Yeah.
play around. You know what I'm saying? But there's a few features that I'm gonna have with a few international acts. I'm not gonna mention them now. Just waiting for the deals to go through. But there's gonna be some interesting features coming up. You know.
In this genre, or is it in different
No. I'm done
genres?
with jazz. I'm done with the jazz. By the way, I'm done.
Are you
I think I
serious?
probably have one. Yeah, I think I have like one more jazz album for the next. Not done as in like, hey, now I'm gonna sound like I'm leaving a
Are you,
political party. Like
are you taking a break from jazz? Is that
no,
what you're
no, no,
saying?
no, no, no. It's not that. It's. I do every style. You know, my next album is gonna be my neo soul album. That's coming out now. Like now, maybe in
Mm.
the next 2 months or so.
Yeah.
The next jazz album I want to release is like going to be a trio album. You know,
Mm.
that is hard to do. A trio album is hard to do. Then I've got a classical album, like that's baroque influence that is just waiting now. Then I've got
Yeah.
a world music album. And I've got like a salsa one that I did with some Cuban people. And I've got this. Nah, man, we need to do other things. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So when it comes to music business side of things, what lessons have you learned that school didn't teach you that you had to learn through experience? You mentioned your when you got first signed at 19. What lessons, other lessons did you learn along the way that you didn't learn back then? Because I can we continue learning.
Sure.
Hmm.
I think this is more of a business and a life lesson.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's okay to just shut up. And I've learned how to observe. I'm an observer now. If you'll notice, I hardly speak on socials now. I'm an observer
Hmm.
now. You know, I watch, we see patterns and you see patterns and like, oh, is that where you are? Okay, now I know
Yeah.
how to avoid it. But now if you're not observing, you'll forever be on the defensive. And sometimes maybe the other person was just joking or that. So I've just learned to just shut up and observe, and that's also just a general life thing. I'm not quick to react. I just
Yeah.
like, okay, that's cute, and then I move on with life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the main thing. But from a same, and you can apply this even from a business standpoint because you need to observe body language. You need to observe, like even in the middle of a negotiation, you need to observe the person's body movements as you're negotiating. Are they uncomfortable? Are they comfortable? Are they a bit too comfortable? You know, from a
Hmm.
business
Hmm.
standpoint, and that helps with the negotiation. And you know, if you're observing, also there's people that just like to be right.
Yeah.
So in certain deals, you'll need to just agree with that person, but they want your opinion also. So now that balancing act is different. It's difficult now because you must oppose them, but not oppose them and and then be with them, but be like it's like such a weird balancing act, you know. But that
Yeah.
for me is the biggest lesson I've learned, and that's helped me be able to adapt into the corporate space now, you know.
Yeah.
Because in music we are just highly emotional about every bloody thing, you know what I'm saying? Like
Yes.
somebody says you suck, you cry. Somebody says your cover is ugly, it's ugly. What must you do? Why don't you keep your cover? You know what I'm saying? You cry
Yeah.
about it. But because you've already got low self-esteem, even if it was not ugly, that person is just being spiteful. Uzokhala because you've already got self-esteem issue. You know what I'm saying? So for me, when I tell me my cover is ugly, I'll just laugh at you. You know, or just not even respond, or just you know what I'm saying. So we can't keep telling creatives to be humble. At the same time, as they are being humble, we expect them to not cry. No, because now if you're telling him his cover's ugly, because now his whole head is full of I must be humble, I must be humble. He can't say never. That's the most beautiful cover you've
Oh,
ever seen. In fact, this cover is he can't do that. He must be humble and
yes.
say, oh, thank you, man. Okay. Okay. No, okay,
I'm
my cover's dope.
humbled.
Nah, go be humble with McDonald's. Like my cover's dope. Finish. That's it. You know what I'm saying? And
Oh,
criticism is great, man. Criticism is great
yeah.
because the funny thing about creatives, we are just so emotional about everything. So, for example, I as a musician cannot comment about another musician.
Hmm.
Now that's weird because I'm an expert in this field, right? But
Hmm.
I as a musician can go complain about food at a restaurant, yet I can't even cook. It
Yeah.
doesn't balance. So you are able to criticize everybody else in a field that you're not an expert in, but you can't comment on your field. Yes, there's
Yeah.
ways, there's ways to put certain things, and that's why for me, as you know, I've always been in the educational space. I'll never ever tell anybody you suck. I challenge anybody to ever tell me, unless it's a friend of mine, of course, then I'll tell him that he sucks. You know,
Yeah.
but he'll then tell me that I suck, then I'm like, okay, let's go play. You know what I'm saying? But
Hmm.
that's in the joking spirit. But my
Yes.
approach is if somebody I can see which content as an arranger and as a composer, and always compose around my players. So there's
Hmm.
way I know let me not push him too much. Because if I do, he's I'm shy, it's gonna drop his self-esteem, it's gonna mess
Hmm.
up the whole performance. So Duke
Yeah.
Ellington said a good composer and a good arranger always composes and arranges around their player. So study the player before you book. That's why you'll see
Yes.
I work with everybody. I choose my people
Yeah.
very carefully. I groom in the
Hmm.
same space. You know what I'm saying? And I teach them
Hmm.
biggest thing is the confidence. Even though I'm telling you, like in my band, I don't know if you can see those lives. I still ask for their opinion. I don't have to. I don't need to. But I'll
Yeah.
then say, okay, but does it feel comfortable? Does it feel like a natural thing that you would play? He'll then say,
Yeah.
I would have gone da 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 da. Then I'm like, okay, I want da da. So how do you put them together? Da 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 da. Okay, let's put it together and make it a triplet. But then, you see what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
there's ways around it. The word humble should never come up. The word arrogant should never come up. Let's just be.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And if all of us are
Yes.
dope, we should never be bothered by anybody else that is dope. It shouldn't bother you.
Yeah.
Why does it bother you so much that I'm saying I'm good? You don't know how long I work. You don't know. Just let me be
Yes.
good at what I do. You know what I'm saying? Or
Mm.
else, if you're the
Mm.
opposite of that, they want you to be confident but humble. And
Yeah.
what? Like, what are we doing here? You know what I'm saying? And then we have people that are now have mental illness, and then we're like, not willing to say anything. When?
Yeah. No, I
It's
get
like,
you.
when? Because I tell you, yeah, it's just weird. So, hey man, but even with that, man, I don't think it's that deep. You know what I'm saying? Like, do what you do, be the best at it. Go
Yeah.
make your money, live well, look after your family, look after your kids. That's all that matters. All this other nonsense doesn't matter. You know, that's all that matters to
Yeah.
me, really.
And jazz music, do you think it's well supported here in Mzansi?
Yes and no. Uh, no, as in it's not supported because we know it's not supported.
Mm. Mm.
But fans can only support things they're exposed to. When last did you hear of a jazz musician doing a music video? So now I'm not gonna go
Yeah.
blame them and say, like, oh, you're not supporting jazz. They don't know it exists. Now you expect people to go look for you. So I'm in the same boat, but my reasoning is different. I've never really cared about being there. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
But
Mm.
so I also work with I work with a social media company. If I really, really wanted to blow things up, we could push there, but that's not my space. So, but I'll
Mm.
include myself in the space and say, look, I too am guilty. There's albums that I have that people don't even know exist. You know what I'm saying? So if I'm
Mm.
in that space,
Mhm.
in that boat, so how do we then blame the consumer for not consuming something they didn't know exists? So
Yes.
comes down to us. Let's not blame them. They have nothing to do with anything. And people just want to do gigs. They don't want to do albums. The ones that want to do albums don't want to do promo. We put one Facebook post and one Instagram post. You've done PR. No, you know what I'm saying? But, but hey, that laugh. I can just imagine someone knocking at my house at 3 a.m. and with that laugh, not opening. Not opening my door. No.
So you're saying musicians should be visible out there, right?
Yeah, should you want to? We're not obligated to because we're not
Yeah.
obligated to, but then don't complain when there's a jazz festival with one jazz musician and 39 house artists. Don't complain. You see, like there's a lot of paradox here. We like contradict
Yes.
ourselves too many times.
Yes.
So you want to be at the festival, they don't know you have an album. How are they supposed to book you? And as
Yeah.
musicians in general, all genres, we just have this weird sense of entitlement. I'm a musician, so it means that I must get a grant. No, why must you get a grant? You know what I'm saying? Like you're gonna be crying concert, they say didn't give they can't give it to everybody. If they give
Yeah.
30K and you're gonna say 30K is not a lot of money. If they give 30K to because they give it to 100 people, that's 3 million rand already. How much
Mm.
more are they supposed to give now? You know what I'm saying? Like from a reality
Yeah.
standpoint, from a business standpoint, it doesn't make sense. They'd be out of, I think they do it 2 or 3 times. So if it's 3 mil, that's about 9 mil, including their running costs as a company, blah, blah, blah. So we're saying maybe their budget's about 14 mil.
Yeah.
Where are we getting the money from? You know what I'm saying? So we also
Yeah.
need to be realistic also sometimes, man. Yeah, it's just weird self-entitlement. Nale, we
Mm.
wanted the I'm at 3,000. Now, yeah, now what? The ones that got the 3,000s were complaining 3,000 is not a lot of money. What then why did you
Yeah.
apply for the 3,000? It's like
For
yeah,
me,
weirdos.
there's a young or there's an upcoming artist out there or a very young aspiring yeah,
Yeah, all right. All
and
right.
they are looking up, they see you on the platforms, and you know you doing good music. What advice would you give them um for them to get to where you are, or maybe try or even be better? Like, what advice would you give them? for them to prepare.
It's shy ego so that they can cry, the emotional ones. I don't know about better. I don't know about better. Look, like I'm saying to you, I'm highly competitive, man. I want people to be good, you know. I was speaking to my students. So I have a WhatsApp group that has like over 200 musicians that I was teaching, you know. There was like 300 of us at some point. And then this one asked me, Uti, but why do you not charge us? This is like, even if there's 300 people here, even if you charge them 100 rand a lesson, which is not even a lot of money, you'd still have 30,000 rand. Why don't you charge us? You know what my answer was to that person? I said, because I need all of you guys to be good so that I can kick your ass. Now, if everybody is whack, then there's nobody that's good, right?
Yes.
So you can't then come and be amazing. So it's a way that I push myself, and I see with some of the guys that I teach, damn man, guys are like we have such an amazing array of drummers now. Drummers are just hitting it hard. They are so inspiring. Our bass players also are coming nicely. You know what I'm saying? So for me, whenever I learn a new instrument, you must remember there's a lot of people that don't understand the psychology. It's like some psychopath psychology thing that I have here. You know why I learn new instruments? Because immediately when you play a certain instrument for so long, or when you do something for too long, you tend to take advantage of it. Like something as simple as you walking, it takes you being on a wheelchair to appreciate your feet. You know what I'm saying? So for me, when I play a new instrument, that day I buy that instrument, I'm literally at the bottom of the food chain. I'm the wackest overnight.
Yes.
That is what I thrive on. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, give me 6 months, give me 5 months, give me 2 weeks, give me, you know what I'm saying? So a lot of people don't understand the psychology behind it. I don't want to use the word humbles because it's boring, but it's a new reality for me now. Once again, it's young combos. I'm like, oh, nice. So you know what I'm saying? So that's why I learn new instruments, because I'm saying to you, even the weakest bass player that exists, the minute I start playing bass, I'm weaker than him.
Yeah.
I even have to get advice from that same guy, and I will half of the time. I'll be like, wait, why do you do it? Why don't you do it like this? Why don't you do? You know what I'm saying? So that's why I learn new instruments. So for anybody trying to do what we do, look, aspire to be better, of course. Hey, but I'm gonna be chasing you, man. I'm gonna be chasing you. I'm gonna be chasing hard.
After me.
Like, these young musicians now are like, look, there's always been a lot of musicians, young and old. It's just that now, obviously, social media, we're exposed to more. Right? So when I see these younger guys doing certain things, it's like driving a sports car, you know. When these polo drivers start becoming, because they're king.
Yes.
Sinalawo ama-BM. Make uthi uyafika nje uthi kancane, yabo. And then uthi
yeah,
man. Yeah, I'm for it. So anybody that, for example, like singers, instrumentalists, look, hit me up. But guys, I'm human. I have a life. I've got a child. I've got a family. So if I don't respond to you, please, nothing personal. There's too much happening. But you can ask a lot of guys. I mean, you can send me a video of you playing, and I can give you ideas of try this, try this, try this, try this. People trying to release stuff. You can send me clips of stuff that you've recorded. I won't necessarily record you myself. If I can, I will. It's just that these things cost a lot of money, guys. So these artists are produced whose albums are still waiting. Not because the album is not done, but you now need to consider that if PR is 20K per month, right? Let's say you're doing like a bigger deal, like one with print, and you're expecting somebody to be running up and down. Remember now, anyone can do PR. The difference is who has a bigger database. And when you're getting somebody to do PR, it's relationships. That's what you're buying from that person. So you're not paying for them because somebody's gonna come to you and say, do PR for me. I just want you to be on Kaya, and I just want to be. No, it's still my relationship. You know what I'm saying? So that's the main difference, Futi, from a PR standpoint, how we weigh them. It's your connects now. Sometimes you don't even have the connect, but because you're a people's person, you will
Yeah.
find a way in. And that's what
Yes.
we're doing for. So if PR is 20K and we know that basic PR should be a 3-month run, good, cool. That's 60,000 Rand already. We leave the album. That's the easiest part. And that's why you'll find a lot of these gospel artists will be doing a DVD. It's cheaper because there'll be an opening act. The cameras are there already. The guy says, look, just give me 5K, 10K. I'll do the DVD for you. Wait, we still post-production.
Yes.
Now, you've not even, because you didn't do pre-production, you're not going to spend more on post than you would have on doing the DVD of your own itself, because you're now going to go sit and do overdubs for the next 2 months. That's 2 albums now. That's a DVD and an album, studio album. You're not spending more money. So
Yeah.
Pre-production is very important. Then there's production, then there's post-production. So even with the artists that I've produced, I've done, now I can spend my own money, right? But that's not a wise business move. It's not smart, because even millionaires don't spend their own money. It's not smart.
Yeah.
So what you do is you will go look for money elsewhere and you wait for timing. Sometimes an album will be done for 4 years. Chill. Wait until you get the money. Go do a bloody CD cover at decent. Don't come there with a selfie picture that you use for a poster last year, and then you're going to use like italic font with like a what do you call that? A shadow background. No, come on. Take your time. Do a nice CD cover that you would consume. You know what I'm saying? Okay, the T-shirt that you are wearing, go borrow a T-shirt. You know what I'm saying? This is not even these things that you don't need money for. Borrow a T-shirt. Get one sponsored for free. Take a promo T-shirt that is free. That's just plain. Wear that. And you know what I'm saying? Because conceptualizing is how you can save money. If you can conceptualize well, you can make something. Like, people keep asking me, oh, wow, your CD cover for Imbuselolo is so nice. Oh, who shot? How did you do it? Listen, I shot that in my yard. I literally took my couch outside, I put it on the yard by the garden, and I took a picture. Finished. But the concept was
picture, though. That's a very dope concept, bro.
But you see, but even with note to self, there's a lot of people that miss the detail. If you look into what do you call this thing? The eye, right? On the do you have the CD cover on you there?
Well, I don't, but I see there behind you.
Okay. If you look closely, what do you see inside this eye?
Keyboards.
And at the back, there's a forest. This wasn't photoshopped. So the whole idea was to shoot the forest through my eye. And a lot of people miss that detail. You know? So, and once again, with the tree theme happening again for the second time. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man, just conceptualize. And here, all we have is just an eye and a piano, and we just shot it. Boom. You know, and that costs nothing because you just shot your eye. We've got cell phones now. You know what I'm saying? So just conceptualize well, plan well. Sometimes you have to wait for, it's like trading. Wait for the right time for you to push the album out, because you only become a newcomer artist once. And then after that, you are doing one of two things. You are either, what do you call this thing? You are either fixing and you are a comeback artist, or you are riding a wave. So you'd rather be riding a wave, you know what I'm saying? So I capitalized on my first album, because remember, after my first album, that's when I joined Lira's thing as the arranger. From there, I did Zama Jobe's album, I did Seputola's album. From there, I did Live Amp. I was the music director for Live Amp. From there, but I'm just riding a wave here, man. That's all I'm doing. I'm just riding a wave from the first album. You know what I'm saying? So it's very important. The first album, relax. Don't be rushing to fix up. I've experienced people that haven't released the first album. Actually, I just want to get it out there for people to know. I hate that thing. Actually, no, it's just to get interest from. What the hell are you talking about? Like, where do the people get this weird formula that you need to test the market? What does that mean?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? With Zahara's first album, that was one of the biggest albums ever. That wasn't tested. That was just released. With Lira's DVD, it was like 1 million cameras. Nobody had ever done a DVD at that level. Where was the test there? With Zonka's album, anybody that's ever been like popped with Brenda Fassie full the stadium, nobody had done that. Stop with this testing thing. You know what I'm saying? Take the product out there. The audience does not want to know your problems and whether you didn't breastfeed yesterday or you did. We don't care. We really don't care about that. Now,
So you're saying
yesterday.
give your best shot, yes.
Yeah, once. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
First time, take your time, have the product out there, fix the mixing, fix the mastering.
Yeah.
Make sure your CD cover it can be cheap, but make it look expensive. You know what I'm saying? And nobody knows. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you just took a picture of, you can literally just take a tablecloth, a white tablecloth or a white piece of paper, get a black mug, put it in the middle there, put cappuccino, and take a picture directly. That's a concept on its own. You know what I'm saying?
Come on. Yes.
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 And that's like, you can go buy coffee at Checkers. You know what I'm saying? So, guys, we need to fix our CD covers. You know what I'm saying? And then we can complain afterwards. So that's why you'll never see me, maybe after 2016, you'll never ever see me complain about anyone or anything in the industry saying the minister is not doing this. No, he doesn't have to. You're not entitled to that money. Yes, you're part of the arts and culture budget. Yeah, but right now you're not part of the food chain. You don't even exist on our in our revenue. So what is your input? So I always look at myself first and think, okay, why do I feel I deserve this money? Okay, cool. And then if I've put in the work, I shouldn't even need that money because the bank balance should be saying that you've put in the work. Sometimes maybe the money is there, but you make bad decisions. That's different. But beyond budgets that are coming in grants and whatever, what are you putting in? You know what I'm saying? And if you can start to look back and say, maybe I didn't need those Jordans. Maybe I didn't need that iPhone. You know, get Jordans and iPhone. That's already a cell phone. That's already a car.
Yeah.
That's like 12 grand. You have a car now. Now you're able to get to that's not space.
MPUMI, where can they find you for those who want to do any businesses with you or book you, whatever? Your social media pages?
MPUMI DLAMINI is just that. You'll see that it's everywhere. MPUMI DLAMINI, MPUMI Lambs, on Instagram. My email is info@mpumidlamini.com. My website is mpumidlamini.com. It's very consistent, yeah? Shame. It's just that everywhere. It's just that.
Okay. If you don't mind sending me that information so that I can use it on the caption as well.
Yeah.
Anything that I left out that you probably wanna add up, or because I'm done asking questions.
We'll do another interview. I will do another one an announcement one. But I've got a show happening on the. Do you have a calendar close by there? On the what's that Saturday in May? I think it's the 13th. 13th of May. I think it's Saturday.
13th of May. It's Friday. The 13th.
No, then it's the 14th of May. So May 14, I'm doing a show, but it's going to be very limited seating. I'm going to be recording that show also. So DVD-ish, but not DVD-ish, but because it's going to be on a DVD, it's a DVD.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But like it's going to be a vibe. It's going to be a vibe, you know, but very, very limited seating. I should have the tickets up by maybe next week or so. Supposed to be first week of April. I should start selling, but I think I'm only gonna do 50 people. Seppo's saying we must do 2 shows. I don't know. We'll see.
Where's it gonna be?
At my house.
Oh yes, you did say in your yard. Nice. Okay.
Yeah. So where we shot the cover thing.
Yes.
Just gonna be like a picnic vibe. It's gonna be a picnic vibe. I'm thinking it's gonna be like an evening thing. Obviously, it's gonna be a little bit chilly. So bring a blanket. You'll be sitting outside. Food will be outside. We'll be sitting. It's like a camping vibe by the forest because I've got a mini foresty thing. I've got a forest in the yard, kind of. So we'll be chilling there. You'll be eating your soup there while the performance is happening. I think it's gonna be a vibe. Let me show you. before we close.
Is it gonna be during the day?
No, I think for my 5, 6.
Okay.
Okay, so let me show you where the performance is going to happen. Here.
Oh, that's the tree. Yes. Okay. Enough space.
That's the tree. No,
Yeah.
we can take 300 people here. Well, maybe 250 people, but I don't want 250 people. I only want like maybe 50 to 100. I don't want. Yeah.
You want it to be intimate.
Yeah, man. It's nothing. Ngathi manje senze imali bisida.
Ukari ke moretile.
Uyayikhumbula imali bisi? Hayi wena uyayazi imali bisi. Uyayazi. Age group yakho.
Oh, okay.
The old people. Peanut butter.
Oh, well, I'm done. Thank you for your time, and thank you for for all the information. I mean, like you said, we'll have you back, and I'm just because for me it's like we want to provide information for the next generation. For upcoming artists. This is not just for the artists I know who know the whereabouts, but those who want to get into the industry, they will learn a lot from people like you because you've walked the journey. So,
yeah, but look, more than anything, guys, if there's anything people must know about me or learn about me from this whole thing is I'm a very playful person, man. I'm very sarcastic. My problem is I don't say I'm joking when I make jokes at the end. So some people will cry out, no, guys, it's all love. We're happy people, and it's really not that deep. You know what I'm saying? Life is too short to be serious. There's no time for that, So, and from an advice standpoint, like I said, people can inbox me stuff. I'll respond when I get the opportunity to, and give as much constructive criticism as I can. If people want to release albums, let me hear. I can hear them. I can give you reviews and tell you what I would change, not what you can. It doesn't mean I'm right, but if you ask me for my opinion, I'll give you my opinion. You know what I'm saying? But man, people must practice. Let's practice, all of us. Let's practice.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Thank you so much, bro. Thank you. We'll see you next time.
Okay. Manje senza I drop my phone le or
yes, I'm not drop.
I drop away. Stop. Wait, were you streaming or were you pre-recording?
Pre-recording.
Oh, so you're gonna cut this last bit out at the end.
Bye.
Chapter.